Sight, the sense we rely upon more than any other. 2/3 of the information stored in the human brain has come in through the eyes. Vision relies on these basic elements: eyes to gather images, a brain to process them, and the energy that makes it all possible: light. The magic of sight is clearest when we are completely in the dark. With every sunrise, a world dependent on sight lights up and is renewed. The returning sunlight powers plant growth, food for animals that are, in turn, food for others. And the same sunlight enables animals to see what they're doing and where they're going. Visual signals reach us in an instant because light travels faster than anything in the known universe, nearly 1,000,000 times faster than sound. Even the earliest of human cultures understood that life depends on light. The link between darkness and evil is rooted in an ancient tale. What if night fell and the darkness never ended? Some early cultures carried out precise rituals to ensure that the sun would reappear. In ancient Egypt, the act of procreation was simulated each morning. In South America, the Aztecs even carried out human sacrifice. Hindus believe the sun's return is a simple act of the divine. Night turns to day when the god Shiva opens his eyes. Sunlight floods the sky, and a new morning begins. When morning comes, the creatures of the night rest, while most animals race into action. The hunters and the hunted. The game is on. The eyes of each competitor reveal who plays which position. An animal with forward-facing eyes, like the cheetah, usually plays offense. It attacks with little to fear from behind, few natural enemies, and none that can outrun it. Its prey, a gazelle, is on the defensive. It needs eyes mounted on the sides of its head to survey the arena for danger. Others among the hunted need the same kind of vigilance. Depending on the animal's role, to chase or to flee, there are striking differences in the position of the eyes and their abilities. But the eyes of all vertebrate animals share a remarkably similar structure. Early studies of sight and light were made around 1,000 years ago by an Arab scientist named Ibn al-Hazan. His experiments revealed many of the laws of optics. He even invented the pinhole camera, which projects an upside-down image on the screen behind it. In all, al-Hazan filled 7 books with his observations. He also described how the eye works. Its main features had already been identified. The cornea, a clear protective layer. Behind it, the lens to focus light. At the back, the retina, a thin screen on which images are projected. Until the time of al-Hazan, some believed that light shone out from inside the eyes. But the astute scientist thought it unlikely that our eyes could light the heavens the moment we lifted our eyelids. He correctly suggested the reverse. The eyes take light in. When light enters the eye, the lens focuses the image onto the retina. This delicate living screen is about the size and thickness of a postage stamp. Light beams bouncing off the featured attraction trigger the cells of the retina to respond. The picture show is upside down, but when the impulses reach the brain, they are interpreted right side up. Many animals form sharp images only at the center of the retina. A cheetah sees clearly in a broad strip, perfectly matched to the African horizon it must scan as it hunts. But some of the cheetah's prey come equipped with a built-in optical illusion, perfect for confusing the enemy. The hunter locks onto an easier target. The gazelle's vigilant eyesight is not enough this time. The most basic eye is simply a collection of cells that can tell light from dark. But a sudden flash of light or a passing shadow could trigger a getaway. As the animals with the best eyesight thrived, evolution brought yet more eyes, orbs, and peepers to light. From the microscopic eye of the planaria to the prominent eyeballs of squid, which include the biggest eyes of any creature. In a sunlit world, the eyes have it, a significant edge for survival. Each animal has a distinctive outlook. A frog's eyes contain some cells that are stimulated by vertical lines and edges, and others by horizontal lines. So a frog probably sees only outlines or contours. But a frog will eat only live insects. It does not perceive a grasshopper at all, unless it's moving. Although one eye could do the basic job of seeing, judging distance and depth takes two, the brain compares the slightly different images and gauges just how far away the target is. Even with two good eyes, some animals cannot see directly in front of them. When a horse takes a jump, it loses sight of the approaching fence, so it relies on the rider to guide it over the jump. As the sun moves higher, the superstars of sight come into their own. Birds hunt by day, when the competition is as fierce as the sunlight. Many birds can see 8 times as far as a human, enabling them to hover high above their prey. The bright light of midday could be blinding, but the eye works like a window shade, opening and closing depending on the brightness of the light. The ring of muscles that does the job is the iris, and it gives the eye its luminous color. Iris is the Latin word for rainbow. A cheetah has an extra feature for minimizing glare, black markings like natural eyeliner that absorb light. When the Egyptians first adorned their eyes with thick eyeliner, they gained not only an exotic beauty, but a protective shield from the harsh desert sun. The iris surrounds a small dark window. Its name, pupil, comes from the word for a doll or small child, perhaps because in another's eyes you see a small doll-like reflection. This may have been so troubling to early humans that they developed a belief in the evil eye. The fear that some people could harm others by the power of their gaze. The belief is found from China to the Mediterranean and has inspired many a horror movie. In Celtic tradition, a mother who believed that her child had received the evil eye would sprinkle her with water containing silver coins. The belief lives on in Greece and Turkey, where blue glass eyes are widely used to defeat the evil eye. Blindfolding a condemned prisoner may have its roots in fear of the evil eye. Without a blindfold, a last evil look might deal revenge upon the witnesses. If just one glance could be so potent, what about a creature with dozens of eyes? According to Greek mythology, Argus had 100, until a goddess set his eyes on the peacock's tail feathers. The bird's dazzling false eyes are thought by some cultures to be unlucky. They do seem to work magic, though, attracting females of the species. Other eye spots in nature serve to confuse. The spots misdirect predators, sparing the animal's head, or even scaring enemies away. Perhaps more alarming than a 100-eyed monster is one with just one eye, a cyclops. Belief in such a creature began in ancient Greece, probably because of fossilized bones. The skulls of pygmy elephants do seem to have one large eye socket, but in fact it's an opening for the trunk. Only one living thing bears a single eye, a tiny crustacean a lot less frightening than its namesake, Cyclops. A solitary eye peers out from the US dollar with its all-seeing eye of God, and the hamsa, which guards against the evil eye in Mediterranean cultures. Any eye can be bewitching, but the eyes of the insect and mollusk world are particularly intriguing to scientists. A large compound eye is actually thousands of eyes. In a dragonfly, 30,000 individual facets. The facets were believed to provide multiple images. We now know that each fragment contributes to only one image, as in a mosaic. Multifaceted eyes have advantages, providing a wide-angle view without swiveling, so there's no need for an eye socket or for muscles to move them. The bug-eyed look may be showy, but our movable single-lens eyes see much more clearly. A dragonfly's huge eyes see 30 times worse than ours. To match human vision, its eyes would need to be about the size of truck tires. With its compound eyes, a fly detects movement 10 times faster than we can, in 1/200th of a second. With such speed and the ability to see in nearly all directions at once, it's notoriously hard to swat. A fly escapes in much less than the blink of an eye. We blink about 17,000 times a day, keeping our eyes moist, shutting them in emergencies. Over a day, we close our eyes for up to half an hour, even though we're wide awake. Some creatures use their lower eyelids to blink. Birds have extra eyelids, which pass over the eye like windshield wipers. Polar bears have extra lids that are slightly opaque to protect against the bright Arctic light. Humans once had similar extra lids. Evolution has nearly done away with them, but traces remain in the small bits of white tissue at the inner corners of our eyes. Nature has created endless variations on the roving eye. One extreme case is the turret-eyed chameleon, an expert at eye-tongue coordination. Many birds cannot move their eyes at all. Their eyeballs are so large that they touch with no room for muscles. A robin cocking its head as if it's listening is actually trying to see its prey. An owl tracks its target by swiveling its head, in almost a complete circle if necessary. Birds are the champions of sight. Some can even see underwater. Their third eyelid acts as a protective shield when birds plunge into a different world. When the sun is at its highest, many land animals rest. But it's at midday that light penetrates to its maximum depth in water. In rivers, lakes, and oceans, animals are now at their most active. The remarkable arrow on a fish targets insects high above the water. Another fish is literally up to its eyes. In a watery world, the Mexican anablep uses 4 eyes to see both above and below the water. It's not an easy catch. The mantis shrimp has truly amazing eyesight. This shrimp's eye view is like looking through the crosshairs of a rifle. The world of color is hidden from the ocean's inhabitants. Because seawater absorbs red light, everything below water appears blue-green. Shades of red emerge only when artificial light illuminates them. Why the mantis shrimp needs not only its target shooter eyesight, and probably the most colorful outlook on life anywhere on Earth, is a mystery. This small crustacean can see far more colors than we can. Powerful vision combined with a powerful punch that can even shatter glass. For all animals, seeing color is less important than detecting motion. Though a cat sees a flower bed as a blur of color, it can spot even the tiniest movement and pounce. Dogs, too, live in a visually drab world. Dogs probably see little or no color, but have a keen eye for movement. And the famous red flag to a bull may be irrelevant. Even if a bull can see red, it's more likely to respond to the flash of the cape. Most humans see a phenomenal range of color. Using both eyes and in good light, we can distinguish among 10 million different shades. Some degree of color blindness is quite common. While most of us can spot a ripe tomato amid the green, 1 in 12 males cannot, though the proportion is much lower among females. We think of eyes as the center of sight, although the real job of seeing is done by the brain. For centuries, the connection between the eyes and the brain was a great mystery. The French philosopher René Descartes, working in the 17th century, called the eyes windows of the soul. He believed the brain held the seat of the soul and that animal spirit carried information from the eyes directly to this spot. In fact, a tangle of nerves makes the connection. The signal from just one cell in the eye links with as many brain cells as there are stars visible in the clearest night sky. Why did humans acquire such extraordinary color vision? Like our closest relatives in nature, we once needed to be able to spot ripe red fruit hidden in dense green foliage. Now we can enjoy our color vision in less urgent circumstances. But where does color come from? Sunlight looks white. Isaac Newton, the English mathematician, revealed light's split personality. Working with glass prisms, he showed that white light can be split. When the beam is bent by different amounts, light breaks up into the colors of the spectrum. Light not only bends and splits, it bounces off things. The color of an object is the color of the light it reflects. All other colors are absorbed. A leaf soaks up virtually all the colors of light except one, green. Green seems the very essence of greenery, yet it's this color that's rejected because it's of no use to the plant as it turns light energy into food. Light's colorful performances fascinate us, especially in displays like the aurora, the dramatic light show of the polar skies. Or a rainbow, which appears when sunlight strikes raindrops at exactly the right angle. Another of nature's illusions A mirage appears when warm air next to the ground is trapped by cooler air above it. This bends light, allowing us to see distant objects over the horizon. What looks like a pool of water dancing across the desert may well prove to be just a pocket of air. Sometimes there is actually more to see than meets our eyes. Flowers attract insects with colors in the ultraviolet range. With special cameras, we can see how the blossoms glow like beacons, guiding insects straight to the prize, nectar. Some insects themselves are painted in ultraviolet hues. A butterfly that looks drab to us may carry a hidden beauty. Humans cannot share an animal's perception, since the real act of seeing happens inside the brain. And what's more, the brain doesn't always see what's there. Just where exactly is the large column? The brain can make some startling adjustments. In a famous experiment, the subject wore special glasses that turned her world upside down. How could she function, much less ride a bicycle? But in just 1 week, her brain had learned to compensate. Then when she removed the glasses, her brain had to adjust again. And it did. It's easy to trick the eye, or rather the eye-brain combination. Many illusions are based on what our brains expect to see. Sometimes we rely on the limitations of our eyesight. Our brain cannot keep up with the speed at which a film is projected. As long as the projector runs faster than about 15 images per second, the film's separate, still images seem to flow together. Any slower, and they don't. But a fly isn't taken in, because it can form images much faster than we can. Even an action-packed feature film would look like a slideshow to a fly. Whatever the illusion, many of us rely on a more practical invention to see clearly: glasses with tailor-made lenses. The word lens comes from lentil, after the shape of the lentil seed. In the 19th century, water-filled lenses known as condensers were used to focus light on intricate lacework. But glass lenses were first used to improve human eyesight over 700 years ago. The results were spectacular. Some of the first eyeglass wearers were monks, who often read and copied manuscripts in poor light. Today, the means of seeing well has found its place in the art of looking good and having fun. Our vision can be improved, but not by eating extra carrots. Still, during World War II, carrots served the British war effort. When the Germans noticed that Allied pilots seemed to have a newfound ability to see in the dark, the British released propaganda. Their pilots had simply been eating a great many carrots. Actually, the British had invented something more effective: radar, which enabled flyers to see their targets at night. New worlds of sight continue to open: the world of the very, very small, visible under the microscope, and worlds that only appear to be small because they're so distant. As day ends, sunlight fades and most animals settle down for the night. but many small mammals are on the prowl. Now there is only starlight and moonlight, though even a full moon provides only 1/1,000,000th of the sun's brightness. Good vision becomes crucial. The owl is a rare bird indeed. It has superb night vision. Owls have powerful eyes with large pupils to let in maximum light. An owl could spot its victim in candlelight, even if the candle were 100 car lengths away. Owls aren't the only nocturnal hunters with highly sensitive vision. The jaguar, like all cats, has a layer at the back of the eye that works like a mirror, bouncing back even the faintest glimmer of light. In Central America, the jaguar's mirrored eyes were believed to be a conduit to the realm of the spirits. Tribal mystics, seers, claimed they could look into the future through a jaguar's eyes. Although no cat can see in total darkness, their mysterious eyes have inspired myths and legends for centuries. New Englanders believed they could tell time by a cat's eyes. It was said that the cat's pupils contracted at low tide and opened wide with the high tide. Medieval storytellers saw the eyes of the devil himself in the cat's glowing eyes. What else could explain such an unearthly light? And the night holds even darker mysteries of sight. How can a rattlesnake hunt at night? Its special pit organs sense a range of signals beyond the visible spectrum, the infrared. The heat given off by warm-blooded animals is often a dead giveaway. One glimpse can mean the difference between death and escape. For the creatures of the night, the dawn lifts the danger. The energy source behind every glimpse returns. Of all there is to see on Earth, the return of daylight is surely a sight to behold.